fight fans watching around the world and here in attendance in Dallas, Texas, baby. Gas Monkey Live, the Arlington backyard.
Truth be told, yourself is your toughest opponent. When your moment comes, grab hold and own it. Never let go, stand tall and hold tight. Overcoming obstacles is the objective in life. Never let go, stand tall and hold tight. Overcoming obstacles is the objective in life. Doubters all the night, and unto them you shall.
What's going on, fight fans? You are tuning in with Antonio Perkins and my guest, Peter Stanonik, the fifth, signed with Glory Kickboxing. Undefeated, 7-0 in Muay Thai and kickboxing, 4-4 in MMA. He likes to wear the big gloves, the small gloves. Peter, out of Killeen, Texas, how the hell are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You're awesome, dude. That was awesome. That was awesome. It just rolls off your tongue so just fluidly. It's awesome.
Well, you know what, man, when you have that connection to a fighter like yourself and we can have a good time, I don't think that we've never not laughed and cracked up.
Yeah, and it's been a few years, too. Yeah, been a few years, too, man.
Yep.
It's very good seeing you, boss.
Yep. So, man, how are things going? I know that everybody's adjusting to the pandemic situation. What's going on with Glory? You've been kind of sitting on the bench, but you've been very active by training at home.
Man, so the whole Glory, I mean, the COVID-19, shout out to anyone who actually, you know, fighting is just like secondary to what we do, you know, because life actually comes first. I actually had my stepmom's sister just passed from complications. Oh, I appreciate it, man. She's doing better. But I just want to say shout out to the people who's actually going through real life shit. Yeah. But the fighting, yeah, kind of shut everything down for a second, man. We were actually scheduled for a fight in March or April, I can't believe. Yeah, March or April, and for Miami, I don't know well, the fight didn't happen, so whatever, in Miami, and then didn't happen. So that let us down, and then, you know, like 2 weeks after that, you thought this was going to go away really quick. You thought it was just going to come and go, and then it didn't, and then you start hearing about an Apex, and it's going, and it's like, damn, this is not going to stop. So as a fighter, as a full-time fighter, if you can't compete, it's kind of hard to stay motivated for anything, because then, you know, it's not for anything, right? And it was hard, man, for like 2 or 3 months. I'm not gonna lie. I was still working out, but the only reason why I do is because, I mean, it's part of who I am. I have to work out to stay right, you know. But it wasn't I wasn't, you know. To hear that we're not going to fight for a while, it's just like, it was killer, man. And so it's actually, but you get past it, you know, things are going to get better. So actually for the past 2 months, man, I've just been ramping up my training. Just because I know in my heart, man, a call is going to come, and Glory specifically, no offense to him, but we'd only get about 4 to 5 weeks to prepare. Now, some people say it's a long time, but if you're fighting high level guys, you know, you want as much time as possible. But I mean, I am in shape. It's just, and I'm in really good shape. It's just, you know, when you get that contract and they say, hey, you're fighting, your mind changes, and then you actually go harder in your workouts. And so, I think right now I have a heads up. And so it's been tough, you know, even getting an MMA fight, and because promoters aren't going to make much. They're going to get a 50-50 cut or something like that, or 50% capacity for the show. So they're losing 50% of their money. They're actually probably losing money. So I can understand that, but it's still like, what do we do as fighters? You know, it's
because it is a business, and you have to make money. You have to get the crowds in, and the UFC really, they have the funding to be able to perform without crowds.
Indeed.
You know, they have the Apex in Vegas, Yas Island, which is awesome. They're doing 4 fights almost in 2 weeks. You know, Saturday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And so
And you know, it can't even be for the fans, because I mean, it can, you know, a certain percentage, but I think he's doing this for the fighters. These fighters are hungry, they got families, and he's letting these guys fight. Like perfect example, Chris Gutierrez, he fought XKL, right? He just fought, and now he's fighting again for the UFC. So imagine how his life is doing right now. You know, like at first it's like, shit, dude, this sucks. Yeah. Then you get a fight. You do well, you stay positive, and then he got another fight. So at first my mindset sucked, man. It was like, damn, dude, this sucks. But then out of nowhere, I don't know, I just woke up and I don't know. For the past month and a half, it's just been like positive vibes, man. It's just, I don't, it feels good. I don't know.
But you've always been that guy. You've always been that guy in the locker room that you know you have a fight coming up that night. Mm-hmm. And you're in that trance mode of preparing, thinking about your training, thinking about your game plan, but you've always been that guy who's positive.
Yeah, it feels good. Well, especially before a fight. Especially before a fight, man. And I always see you before a fight. Like I always see you before every fight. I don't sound like I mean to, but I see you and we have a good talk, man. And even the little things like that, it's just more positive reinforcement to know that you're about to go do what you love to do and get paid for it. So it's like it's hard to not be in a zone and to be like free, be happy, and just feel good. It feels good, you know. The whole process just feels amazing, man. And then you're back there with people that you've grinded with for 6 weeks, and then you see their smiles, you can see their goosebumps, they're sweating too. It just feels good to be intimate with people like that in like the deepest form, because fighting is like, it's intimate. It's gotta be. I mean, you're putting two people in a small place, and they're about to push to their very limits. You know, that's just I think it's beautiful. So I don't know how you can. It's not anger. It's never really anger. It's just a misplaced fear. You know, because we're all scared. It's just at that point in time, you don't know how to express your emotions. You know, but sometimes after you win a big fight, you know,
that's when you can celebrate.
Oh, all the good emotions come and you just feel good, man. And that's what we were talking about when I, defended the belt. And
and we're going to get to that point.
Jesus, that was such a good feeling, man.
Yeah, we're going to get to that, definitely. But, I want to bring people up to speed who are getting to know you, people who do know you. You fought for XKO here, a local promotion in Dallas.
Wow.
Muay Thai champion. I think you were the first Muay Thai champion that we ever had. And your work ethic has gotten you the contract signed with Glory. Mm-hmm. And before Glory, I think a lot of fans know about K1. Mm-hmm. They know about K1 Kickboxing, and that stuff was lethal. Lethal. And then you have some of these dogs that are out there, man, that are really divided the bit to fight. I know everybody's doing what you're doing. Yeah. Some fighters have the training facility to go to and train and stay up. You've been training at home, and you've been training twice a day. Yeah. You're staying on the ready. You're just not rolling out the mats and sparring. You're doing the strength training as well. Tell me a little bit more about your strength training program that you've been doing.
So I just never really lifted weights. I've never, and with the intention of getting stronger. And what I did, it was a lot of reps to stay toned. But I've never walked above 180, right? Even when I'm out of shape, I've never 180. So I figured if I'm walking around at 173, I got a lot of room to work with. And so these past 6 to 8 months, it's kind of embarrassing to say, but about 8 months ago, I could only squat about 220.
Right.
We could bench 315. So that is
315. 315.
Yeah.
Watch out, jiu-jitsu.
Raw, off the bench, no spot. My mindset is I watch a lot of CT Fletcher.
Yes.
If you don't get it up, you gonna hurt yourself. So you might as well get it up, simply put. So long story short, man, I just been lifting heavy. Like wake up in the morning, put some heavy weight on, warm up with like 185, jump up to 205, play around with 225, maybe get to 275, hit 3 reps, and then try to get at least one rep in with 300. And I don't really go for numbers, man. I just go until it hurts, and I call it uno mas. Always uno mas, always one more. For real, man. And now, so in the past 6 months, I went from whatever it was, like 205, 215. I didn't know what I started at. I just know it wasn't 225 because I almost broke my back doing it. And now I'm up to 365, man. And this is, it's not a lot to a lot of people, but to me, it's like the world, because I didn't think I could ever even squat 315. And now that I'm like really just drilling my technique, because I'm in here every single day. Like I'm in this room, like I'm into my garage more than my house. Like,
wow.
No cap, because my laundry's out here.
Yeah.
You know, I fix it. I got to mow a lot and stuff, you know. So I'm in the house to sleep, eat, and shower, really. Yeah. But then, dude, I'm in here twice a day, man.
The life of a fighter.
Yeah.
And you're living like you're in camp.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Well, and there's no excuse to, because it's 10 feet away from my bed. So I feel like if I ever took a day off, like I feel like a piece of shit. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's not okay. And I know my dad is out there working. Other people got to work. And everyone wakes up and doesn't want to do something every day. But character building, you do it anyway, you know. So some days I don't want to work out, but then it's like the best workouts. And I love doing it solo. Like I like working out solo. Like I want to be able to feed off my own energy. I don't want to have to ever need someone there to be able to push myself. So I have my teammates that come down every once in a while, but when I want that hard push, I like to wake up in the morning, I turn my heater on, I close the garage door, and I just get after it, I sweat, I get a great burn. And so I just know in the third round, man, when other dude, I can tell his legs are getting shaky, mine are going to be strong, you know?
Right.
That's how I feel about it. And legs every day. Like
that's what you were telling me, because I think earlier we were talking about that. The whole purpose of hitting squats, the purpose of hitting the bench, because you were talking about in the Muay Thai kickboxing stance. I mean, compared to boxing, traditional boxing.
Yeah. Like so for instance, in Muay Thai, when you have a high guard, you just want to watch out for power kicks. You have your shoulders rolled out, hollowed out, getting ready for knees or be able to throw elbows. This is hard to do for like 3 to 5 rounds. Like I fought Crisco this way, and it was just by the 4th round, or not even, I'm exaggerating, by like the 2nd round, it was like, man, I can't do this. It's hard to do it because you're holding everything up. Your elbows are parallel with your shoulders, and that just means I'm holding something up. Instead of kickboxing, to where I can be more fluid with my punches, relax my shoulders, right? Cover my chin by just bringing my head down. I don't have to do this, right, to cover my face. I can relax my arms on my pecs and just bring my chin down, and then I can do this for as many rounds as possible. Not only, man, but the power comes from being relaxed. Like when you stress, you mess up your technique. Especially when you try to throw hard, you bring your hand down, the trajectory of the punch is different. When you come from here, nice and relaxed, the trajectory is nice and perfect. So I just feel like when I hit shoulders, and with me learning how to fix my stance and be relaxed, I just have the ability to throw more punches in a combination sequence for longer. Right? Because you don't ever want to throw one attack. That'll get you hurt. You got to throw 3 or 4, you know.
And I've seen you in your career. Your kicks, your punches are lethal. You pick your punches.
Yes, sir.
And I've talked about that before. You go in like a Terminator. You go
yes,
in.
Sir.
You don't show. You don't show any fear. You don't show any pain. You turn the switch on, and you go to work. You go to work, and you're the most likable guy outside. You're the most optimistic guy on the outside. But you go in there and you are a champion, and there is something about your blueprint, the work ethic that goes into that. And so I think earlier you and I were talking about the fight game, and all of your wins have been via knockout. Now, is that your go-to? Are you always looking for a knockout, or does it just kind of come down?
Yep. And people can say what they want. You don't go looking for a knockout. You do. You do. And you might do it consciously or subconsciously, but the combinations I throw are all for knockouts.
Right.
Like, I just spill the beans, it doesn't matter. But I like to finish most of my combinations with my lead hand. Right. So that would mean my kill shot is I'm going to be on my lead hand. If I finish the combination with my lead hand, I'm trying to go for the knockout. I want the knockout. So I have to go. You're not just given something, you know.
Right.
You might close your eyes and get lucky with a lucky shot, but you got to work for something in all aspects. So no matter if I'm setting it up with level change or hand traps or whatever, I'm going for the knockout. I want the knockout from the jump. Like I want to get in there as quick as possible and get out. There's no point to stay there. I don't need to show toughness. Doing this is already tough. The lifestyle is tough. You know, sparring is tough. You don't have to show toughness in a fight. You have nothing to prove. There's nothing to prove. Just get a check in. Move on to the next. Stay healthy. That's the way I see it.
And, you know, and that's interesting that you say that, because some fighters will say they're in there for the marathon. They're in there for the long haul. And that opens up a huge window for injury that may take you out of the fight.
Yep.
And sometimes that's where the fight just goes. You may face an opponent where they're preventing everything you're throwing, and you just have to change the game plan on the fly, round to round.
Yep, very true. Especially in MMA.
Right? We're getting a little technical feedback there, but we'll take care of that. No worries. We're going to try to bring that back. It looks like the connection is slowing down just a little bit. There we go. You still there? All right, if you got to reset it, that's fine. I can edit all this out, no problem.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, I can hear you. Okay, there we go.
All right, bet. In kickboxing.
And I can edit all that space out. I can edit that out later, so don't worry about that.
Oh, sweet. Hell yeah. Okay, so so for kickboxing, man, you have to understand that you're going to get hit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? In MMA, you can nullify that with takedowns. You can catch the kick, take them down. You can submit very quickly, but in kickboxing, you have to understand that you're going to get hurt. And once you get that in your head, that you know you're going to go out there and have a war, then it's actually a lot easier to fight. For instance, after every kickboxing fight I've had, my shins are just destroyed. It's not a question. They're destroyed. In MMA, and I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to, be on the side of kickboxing, but it just feels like with so much grappling in MMA, and if someone knows you're a good striker, they're going to initiate grappling.
Yeah.
You don't get as many injuries, and that's why I think you got a lot of guys that can fight MMA a lot, depending on their style. Yeah. Right. If you got a guy like Justin Gaethje, if he has his style, but he's not as good, he can get away with it, right? But if you have a guy like Khabib who's just going to wrestle you all the time, he can fight all the time. He can do that, and he can go right back to training because his body is developed for that, But in kickboxing, you can't develop to break a leg or a kick or a toe. It's just, if it happens, it's gonna hurt. Period. Right. So you go out there with reckless abandonment. It's a lot easier, man.
Did you watch this last UFC fight with Darren Till? And he was
I did
his
not.
kneecap. You saw that where his knee was pretty much destroyed in the first.
I kept hearing that. What happened? What happened?
So it looked like his lead leg. It looked like he took a kick right above the kneecap, almost like that push kick. Right above the knee. Yeah, and he stayed in it the whole entire fight. But
that's what they were talking about. Yeah, I've seen the tweet and stuff.
And they're saying
illegal.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing is they're asking, should that be illegal?
That should not be legal, man. If you want to do some real damage without trying to hurt somebody, just leg kick. Set up a leg kick. Just kick the outside of the knee. We both know there's like a a fighter imaginary
etiquette.
rule. Yeah, etiquette indeed. Yeah, that, if you will. Like you just don't do that. It's like in sparring, you don't really do wheel kicks, or you don't throw knees to the you don't throw knees really. It just and the rule, there's already a rule, you don't hit the downed opponent, So they should just go ahead. There's no headbutts. You can't. So go ahead and take that away, because what happens if the dude can't fight anymore? What if John Jones were to put out, whoever he does it to everybody?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. And you know what? Maybe in UFC they allow John Jones. They keep that rule for John Jones because he uses it so much.
But he's so damaging with it. That's his bread and butter. It's
so damaging and effective, you can see their leg just go inverted for a second. It's like, that doesn't even look good. That doesn't even look aesthetically pleasing. I don't want to see that, That's not right, dude, but whatever. It's fighting. Sometimes most of the time fighting's not fair.
Yeah.
Even with weight classes don't really mean much, if you want the truth. Like being athletically gifted with size and,
And that's what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm,
we were talking about guys like Tyreek Hill. Not only does he have speed, he has quickness.
Yes, sir.
You talk about guys like Bo Jackson, who could play multiple sports. And Bo Jackson was just a God-given ability.
Bro, he could do anything. Imagine if MMA was like big back then.
Man, I would. Come on, really? Could you believe
his competitiveness? He would have done it. Because look, Herschel Walker, right? Isn't it Herschel?
Yeah, and he fought in.
Dude, he did too. I remember watched his interviews, his training. Most of his training, he didn't touch weights. He said he did like 2,000
body weight.
Yeah, bro. Like what the hell? 45 years old and you look like that, yo. Yes. Who did he
fight?
He knocked out somebody. He knocked out.
Look that up.
In Atlanta, Georgia, I believe he fought. Knocked somebody out and then ground and pounded him. Mm-hmm. But imagine him in his prime. He won the fight. Imagine him in his prime.
Yes.
We're kind of lucky that and then I saw a meme of LeBron and they put gloves on him and put him in MMA shorts and said, "Imagine ...
Right.
6'5".
How tall is he?
240. Go.
Yeah. And it's funny.
Jesus.
It's funny. You talk about God-given abilities, right? Mm-hmm. God-given abilities like speed, endurance, muscle memory. But then you look at guys like LeBron James, Tyreek Hill, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, Herschel Walker. You look at these guys, look at Muggsy Bogues. Muggsy Bogues, just by looking at him aesthetically, he was 5'6"?
I don't think he was 5'6". I think you're giving him something. I think he was 5'5". He could have been shorter than that, maybe.
Yeah. But he played with the elite, and he was an elite, elite basketball player. But okay, so let me shift gears and get away from the aesthetics.
I see.
Of the ability, and think about this and this.
Indeed, yeah.
Because I think that we're undercutting athletes and saying, they're God-given ability. But here's the thing. You can talk about an athlete, like, say, a quarterback, and say they're in the war room before everybody else, and their last one, they study the game plan. Their mind is in the game, and it's all intelligence. But why do you think that is? We cannot give credit to God-given ability to athletes and say this and apply the same mentality and say their intelligence and their heart are what make them so great. Do you think that kind of takes away from a fighter?
No, I think you're exactly right. Because for example, man, there's been times in a fight, man, where you get hit, right? And it's like, you kind of got to question what you're going to do next. But then you take a second, right? You get rung, and it's like, okay, do I fire back right now emotionally? Or do I stand there with a poker face and show some true grit and make it seem like you didn't hurt me? And to me, that is specifically what I think is hard is
Right.
standing there and taking something, man, and knowing it's gonna hurt. You know it's gonna hurt, but you still stand there and like you put up with it.
Right.
And I think that's hard, man. Yeah, you can have the most talent and God-given ability, but if you don't have no heart, your mind's not there. That's like saying underdogs. That's the whole point of an underdog, right?
Okay.
Because the guy on top is supposed to win, and he's probably going to win. But what if he didn't show up? What if him and his wife got into a fight the night before, and no one else does it? But the guy before, the underdog, slept great, wife kissed him, have a great fight hunt. What if that guy had that type of night? So, I mean, your mind has to be there at all times. So I understand when people say undefeated, dude, it's because you haven't fought anybody. But you're always fighting yourself. What if you don't show up one night? And yeah, you're better than that guy. But what if your mind is somewhere else, man? You've already it's really not you versus them. It's you versus you every single night. Yeah, especially when you put the work in. That's real hard. I mean, to me, I don't know anything else but this fighting stuff. And I think fighters show the real, like a genuine ability to show heart because you have to. Physical pain, not everybody is okay with dealing with physical pain, you know. And when you know that you're going to be inflicting and getting inflicted, you know, you have to hurt someone. You have to know that you're going to go out there and hurt someone. You know, that kind of, it's kind of weird sometimes too. No matter the, you know, everyone wants to sound tough and say they want to hurt someone. You know, I want to get in there, beat them up. But I'm just going to keep it real with you. It's not, I don't care how tough and deep, how many tattoos you have in your face or whatever. It's not like that, man. It's, you kind of have, because you see the guys, when they do knock them out, you instantly feel bad. You feel bad. Now, if there's, you know, if you got
beef
history with this person, that's a little different. But you're going in there, two professional fighters. You know, he probably has loved ones out there, man, and it could easily be you too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, like, you kind of got to keep that in mind as a fighter. Like, you got to have some empathy, right? Because after fighting, when you go home after the fight, man, you're not a fighter no more. You're now a dad. You probably got real responsibilities, you know. And, I mean, even if you're a full-time fighter, you got to be able to turn that off sometimes, you know. Like,
and you are that guy. You know, I think a lot of fans think that you guys are rolling in millions of dollars, thousands of dollar contracts.
You're so
right. And there's a difference. There are fighters that have the big contracts, but they still have to train. They still have to fight. And a lot of fighters fight to put food on the table, to keep the lights on. And those are dangerous fighters. I mean, these fighters are fighting to survive.
Indeed.
And you are one of those fighters.
Indeed.
In your life, post-fight interview. I love to say this is the dad we did it moment.
Yeah.
Because for some people, they think one thing. They see that and they think, oh, wow, it's a great moment for him and his dad. They probably worked hard. But on the other side of that comment, they don't know that you were literally shoveling this, working that, you know, doing everything for you and your dad together to prepare for this fight. So you got to tell me about the dad we did it moment, man.